This is the Sixth Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts, Kevin Tucker and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic!
What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Sixth Man Show. Today is January 5th, 2025. Jonathan Osborne here, as always, joined by my co-host, Kevin Tucker. Kevin, about to be in Europe. I mean, like, as some people are listening to this, you are on the way to Europe. What's going on?
Dude, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm fired up. For those that don't know, obviously the Magic play in Europe next week, but I'm going a little early. Gonna go a little early, do some sightseeing and touristy stuff, and a couple other fun things. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited for that. Excited to be back with the show. I know last week was a little funky with New Year's Eve and all that stuff, but back to the regular scheduled programming today. And yeah, glad to be back.
Really quick, this episode is brought to you by Joshua Beckett, Austin Vogt, Smith's Chic Ship Sinks, Flavor Saver, and Debo 1980. These are some of our Hall of Fame and Elite tier patrons. They went to patreon.com/the Sixth Man Show and picked the tier that was best for them. Anytime we have brand new patrons, we give them a very special shout out. And just like we just did, we give our Hall of Fame and Elite tier patrons, a handful of them, a special shout out each and every episode. Everything that we do here, like going to Europe for this Magic trip, would not be possible without all of you. So first of all, thank you so much first and foremost there. But if you like what we do and you want that to continue, the best way to support the show is to go to Patreon, pick the tier that works best for you. Every little bit helps. So again, if you like what we do, you want to help contribute, you can go to patreon.com/the Sixth Man Show. Now, Kevin, I'm not going to let you off that easy. You said you're going to be doing some fun things in Europe, but please elaborate, because I don't think people really understand the scope of the trip that both of us are going to be on, but you've got some extra stuff sprinkled in there.
I also just have to add, you mentioned the patrons, just so the patrons know, you're not paying for my extra week of going early. I'm doing this on my own, so please don't. I don't want that to get like, oh, you're paying for Kevin to go see the, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going a week early. The first, I'm doing a lot of just touristy stuff in London, so that kind of stuff. But the thing I'm most excited about as a diehard Arsenal supporter is that I'm going to go see Arsenal Liverpool on Thursday at the Emirates. I am buzzing. I cannot wait. Like, I'm already like antsy. Like when you ask me, like, Kevin, what is on your bucket list? The top thing is seeing Arsenal at the Emirates. The fact that I get to do the top thing on my bucket list, like 96 hours from when we're talking right now, I can't wait. Like, I'm already like, can't sleep. Like, I'm just so excited. So that's
like
in a really
like, I'm not a, I am a very casual, like, English soccer fan, but this is like the game to be at, by the way, if I'm understanding correctly.
It's one of them, right? Liverpool's kind of fallen off this season a little bit, but yeah, it's one of the big games. But yeah, to see my favorite team, who I've loved for so long, in person, like, obviously the Orlando Magic are my team. Like, I bleed blue, like that's a thing. But like, honestly, I like the Arsenal more than my other professional sports teams outside of the Magic, right? I love that club, and like, I've obviously never seen them play, like that. And so very, very excited about that. That's going to be awesome. But that, outside of that, it's just
towards the top of the table this season.
They are top of the table. Let's get that very clear. Yeah, doing great.
Which for you non-cultured swines out there, that's the English word for standings.
That's right. Yeah, they're at the top, and they've had insane injury troubles this year, like the Orlando Magic, but they've been able to overcome them because the squad depth is just insane this year. So anyway, I'm excited about that. But outside of that, it's just
you're going to an Arsenal fixture.
That's true. I didn't want to get too crazy, and I'll call it football too. I'm going to go see a football match between Arsenal Football Club and Liverpool. So anyway, that's
one
cool.
last thing. I don't know if you want to go into detail on it. If you don't, you tell me you don't want to. But like, people don't understand just how crazy it is that you even got a ticket to this game.
That is true. I don't want to bore you, but like, in the United States, obviously, if an event is sold out, people just resell tickets on like third-party websites, and you have to pay more, right? You pay a pretty penny for it, but you can go to any game you want. Like, if you have the money, you can go to any game you want. For big-time Premier League fixtures and the big-time clubs, that's not how it goes. Number one, third-party ticket reselling is illegal for the Premier League. Like, you can't do it. Like, it's against the rules, against the law. So it's not like you can just go to StubHub and buy a ticket. You have to enter the lottery to win a ticket. And I entered 2 different lotteries, and I missed on both of them. But me entering one of the lotteries got me into like the ticket exchange, where if an Arsenal fan can't go to a game, they put it on the ticket exchange, and then it sells at price. You can't, like, again, not third party where you're making money off of it. It just sells at price. And so I'm spending days and days and days refreshing this ticket exchange because there's literally thousands of people on there at a time trying to get tickets. Super long story short, I got a ticket miraculously. I still don't know how.
Quite literally.
And it's a banger of a ticket. Like, I'm row 7, like, and it costs $103 because the ticket prices there are insane. So yeah. I'm buzzing. I cannot wait. It's gonna be like the coolest thing I've ever done. And I'm so
might have been the most emotional I've ever seen Kevin when all this went down.
I was fired. Because the other option is, if I didn't get that, like, either I don't go to the game, or you have to pay like $1,000 to sit in like some swanky luxury box, which I don't want. I want to be with the real fans, number one, and number two, I can't afford $1,000 ticket. So the fact that I got it for $100 and it's a prime ticket, and it's so prime, like, it's in this section where everyone's going to stand the whole game because those are the diehard fans, and I'm going to be standing the whole game, and I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Enough about that, though. It's going to be great.
I need you. Even if you don't want to post it anywhere, I need you to like vlog that day for me.
Just for
I want, like, I want to see you like in the stands, like in all your glory. Hopefully, Arsenal will beat Liverpool, and it'll just be the best day of your life to that point until the Berlin game, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that'll be really, really fun. I'll surely gather some stuff and post it. Maybe I'll post a couple pictures to the 6-Man Show account just for fun that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be good. But outside of that, just touristy stuff in London. And then I'm going over to Berlin a couple days earlier too. So I'm doing all kinds of, I'm a history nerd. So like I'm doing all the World War stuff in both cities and all that stuff. So it'll be fun. But yeah, I'm excited for it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the way that the content schedule, like listeners, viewers really aren't going to miss anything. A couple things might be timed a little bit differently because Kevin is going to be, 6 hours ahead or 5 hours ahead for a little bit, 6 hours ahead a little bit, while he's there as well. He's going to be doing some post-game live stuff. I'm going to be doing some post-game live stuff. We might have a special guest Thursday's episode. You'll have to wait and see who that is. You might be able to guess if you've been around for a little bit of time.
Special might be a stretch, but
Oh, unbelievable. Well, that's a dead giveaway for most people then. But yeah, so all of that, again, you won't be missing anything, but if things don't come out like the minute usually when they are supposed to or usually would, just know it's coming. It just, might take a little bit longer than normal. And then, so I leave the following Monday. So if you're listening to this on the 5th, Kev leaves then. And then my wife and we leave the 12th to fly over to Berlin. And then obviously we'll be there the whole week. So getting like all the last minute Amazon orders for like scarves and, earmuffs and all that kind of stuff because it's freezing cold there.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to that. Just super excited. I've never felt more underprepared for a trip. I think it's just the anxiety that I've never left the country before. I'm sure everything will be fine. We've got the passports and, all of the other, travel documentation stuff kind of done. But yeah, I haven't packed at all yet. That'll be a process like throughout the week. But Kev, we're doing some pregame stuff before these games in Europe. You want to go ahead and just let everybody know what the deal is with that, where and when they can find us before those games.
Yeah, of course. We've heard from so many of you saying that you're going to be there, whether you are a local, you're from the UK or from Germany or somewhere else in Europe, and you're just making a shorter trek to these games. Or we still have a ton of you that are from here in the States that are making the trip over, which is really cool. We've heard from so many of you. And so we're excited again to announce our pre-game meetups that we're doing before each game. First off, in Berlin, which is the first game, of course, on January 15th, we'll be at the Irish Pub Berlin, which is quite literally right. It's not even across the street. It's on the same plaza as Uber Arena where the game is. Game tips off at 8, so we're going to be there from about 4 to 7 p.m. And so, again, it's just an opportunity for Magic fans to come hang out and kind of pregame food, drinks, whatever. And it's like 4 to 7, but it's open house. So like, don't feel like you need to be there all 3 hours. Like just come whenever you feel like you want to, and then
4.6 stars on Google, by the way. I got to take a look at the menu.
I know. Yeah. There's some good stuff in both of these places,
but
I
can't read this. Oh no. Can't read this.
Yeah, it's okay. You can do the little Google Translate thing. It'll be great.
No.
But anyway,
so there is some stuff on here. So a chips basket. We're talking fries.
Well, this is Berlin, but yes, I would guess that chips there would be fries as well.
Yeah, like there's a chili cheese chips basket. They call them potato dippers. There is an English translation on the menu, thankfully.
Gotcha. Good. That's good. So yeah, that's for the Berlin thing. Come hang out with us. Come hang out with a bunch of other Magic fans. We just wanted to be one big happy family. And then moving on to the following Sunday in London, we'll be at the Pilot in Greenwich, which is a 10-minute walk away from the arena. That game tips off at 5, so we're going to be there from about 1 to 4. Again, kind of come and go as you please. Once again, another place with good food, good drinks, and good vibes. Just a bunch of Magic fans hanging out before the game. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think it's just be worlds colliding. Like, again, you're going to have these Magic fans from the States. You're going to have Magic fans from Europe, all hanging out together, getting to know each other. It's going to be so much fun. I quite literally can't wait. These things, Jonathan, this is why we exist. Like, these kinds of things is what we live for. Like, we want to grow this community, not just in number, but like in strength. And so if we can continue to kind of foster these relationships, even if it's on the other side of the world, it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited for it.
The 6-man show worldwide. Yeah. I'm looking at the Pilot, 4.4 stars on Google, and they call their appetizers nibbles. How adorable is that?
Love that. Love a good.
They've got
anyway.
You love a good nibble. They've got bar snacks. They've got calamari. They've also got some kind of fries, chili, mustard, and honey dressing. That sounds fantastic. A stag and boar sausage roll with mold red cabbage and cranberry jus. That sounds like the most London thing I've ever heard of, and I cannot wait to try that. And they've got like regular chicken wings, and man, I don't know. No, I do know. Obviously, I'm more excited for the games, but I've never left the country, especially never been to Europe. I've left the country. I've been to Mexico on a cruise. To me, that does not count. If for some reason, if a boat takes you somewhere, I don't know. But like, I'm super excited for the food, like I am always. And when we get to London, Carmen and I and you on that, what would be that Friday after the Berlin game? I'm counting on you to be able to be like, hey, this is the best fish and chips place. Like, I need you to find that for me before we get there. If not, you've wasted all your time there, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I'm not eating fried food these days, so you might be on your own.
True.
But
right, I'll have to Google it.
I'll have some other good food recommendations. But if you're interested in more information about these gatherings, we've pinned this information on both our Instagram and our Twitter. And so if you're going to be there, you want all the information written out so you can see it, go to those spots. And super pumped about it.
In Magic news, Kevin, the NBA has officially let Jalen Suggs know that he is not able to wear his headband as a choker to start games. It has to be on his head, which I think they're just like, they just don't want everybody doing it. They don't want it setting some weird kind of precedent. Do you remember a few years ago where they had the like tie headbands where everyone was tying them and they decided that it was like a safety thing? I don't know if they're considering this some kind of weird safety thing with Jalen Suggs. Whatever. It's just kind of dumb that this is even a thing with them, but he's officially not allowed to do that anymore.
Well, I have a question, Jonathan. If LeBron James walked out into a game and had the headband around his neck, do you think the NBA would tell LeBron that he can't do that?
Probably not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they're just being a little ridiculous here. But I mean, honestly, both are ridiculous. Like, Jalen Suggs doing it is pretty wild, and then the NBA saying you can't do it is pretty wild. It's not a bad thing. It's just like that's just kind of wacky, but in a good way. That's why we love him. So yeah, that whole thing's weird. I guess that chapter is closed, but it does make sense a little bit from a safety standpoint if you think about it. Like, if someone grabs it, and pulls the neck, I don't know. It's weird, but I still think if LeBron did that, they wouldn't have said a word. I believe that.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the weekly state of the Magic, Kevin. This week, the Magic went 2-2 with a loss to the Raptors, a win over the Pacers, a loss to the Bulls, and then another win over the Pacers. At the time of this recording, sitting at 20-16, the Magic are 6th in the Eastern Conference, 6.5 games back of first place Detroit, 3.5 games back of second place New York, 3 games back of third place Boston, and 1 game back of fourth place Toronto. that stings because of that loss to Toronto. The Magic would be the 4th seed right now had they won that game. They are a half game back of the 5th seed Philadelphia 76ers. Again, Magic sitting at 6th. They are a half game up on Miami and Cleveland. So if you lose a game in Miami and Cleveland both win, all of a sudden you could be, the 8th seed? And then you're 2.5 games up on Chicago, 3.5 games up on Atlanta. It should be more because you should have won both, if not one of those like early games of the year against Atlanta, but I digress. On the season, the Magic are now 13th in offensive rating with an offensive rating of 115.0, which simply means that per 100 possessions played, the Magic are scoring 115 points. And the Magic are 11th in defensive rating with a defensive rating of 113.7, which means per 100 possessions, the Magic are allowing their opponents to score 113.7 points. And the Magic are 14th in net rating with a positive net rating of 1.4, which obviously means per 100 possessions, the Magic are outscoring their opponents by 1.4. Now, Kevin, I want to take a little bit of a closer snapshot here because the way that this season has gone, so many ups and downs, I don't think it really gives you a good picture of how the Magic are playing right now, just going off of like the season, wide stuff. But it's also good just to be like, hey, how are the Magic playing at this point in time? Over the last 15 games, the Magic are 27th in offensive rating, 17th in defensive rating, and 22nd in overall net rating. TLDR, the Magic are not playing well right now. They're winning games, every other game, to be exact, but they're really not playing good basketball. They've gotten into a softer part of their schedule, and against teams that they should be beating handedly, they're really just surviving. Last 12 games without Franz Wagner, the Magic are 22nd in offensive rating, 21st in defensive rating, and 24th in overall net rating. So really, really struggling these last 12 games without Franz. As a matter of fact, the Magic have not won consecutive games in over a month. I think the last time was Detroit, Miami, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go back to the schedule.
Or Philly, Detroit. It was something like that Detroit game. Yeah.
Philly, Detroit, yes. The blowout. Nope. Detroit, Chicago before we played San Antonio.
Okay.
Yeah, you won 3 in a row. Philadelphia, at Detroit, home for Chicago, 125-120. And then you lost to the Wemby-less San Antonio Spurs at home before you played Miami there. So yeah, it has been over a month since December 1st was the last time the Magic won consecutive games.
And let's just remind ourselves, Franz got hurt
December 7th.
December 7th. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or was that in the Knicks game? Is that right? Was it before the Knicks game?
Because then you didn't have Franz against Miami.
Right.
And then you didn't have him Sunday in the...
Right. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one. It was the first Knicks game of those
right,
two.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You're right. So all I have to say, though, like, is it coincidence that streak started pretty much when Franz went out? I don't think so. I don't think that's a coincidence at all. Like, it's clear we missed that guy. It's tough. Like, when you look at the stats, I mean, the stats of when Jalen is present versus absent, just the win-loss numbers are staggering over the last, 3 years, right? It's insane. Like, this team is one of the best teams in basketball when Jalen Suggs is around and not good when he's gone. But Franz right now is proving to be quite valuable. And even this week, we got, obviously, Paolo's been back for a while, but you get Jalen back for a game and a half, which I know we'll talk about. But it still shows, like, how much this team wants/needs Franz, not just because of what Franz brings, but because of how the rest of the roster and the rotations have to get shaken up when Franz isn't available every night to play 35, 40 minutes. That's been very, very evident this month. And so Franz's stock continues to rise in my book, if anything, just from showing what the absence has done.
Yeah, I don't think it's any surprise to people that we're not playing well without Franz. I think a big part of that has been like a good stretch of this. Like you mentioned, you've also been missing Jalen Suggs. And until very recently, essentially before this week, Paolo Banchero had not been playing well in that stretch. And like Desmond Bane has been kind of up and down during that stretch. And to me, the biggest issue is always going to be the deep, or not always going to be the defense, but at this point it is the defense. I know that you're missing, 2 all NBA, like all defending type of guys in Jalen and in Franz, and especially like those guys and their motor and just what they mean to the tone and energy of this team. But at the end of the day, defense like mostly comes down to focus and effort. Mostly comes down to focus and effort. And I can take like, maybe the defense isn't like quite up to par. It's not top 5. It's not maybe top 10, but this team should still be able to be halfway decent defensively without those guys. And what did I say without Franz? They're like 24th in defensive rating, something like this team has been genuinely like atrocious the last couple of weeks defensively. And it's frustrating. I know we're going to talk about the Chicago game. We'll talk about even the Indiana game, which you won. It's frustrating that one, you can't like put these teams away or you just flat out lose these games because the defensive effort has been so poor and the offense has been bad at times. But I would say like probably 60 to 70% of these games, the offense has been at least decent, where you don't, it's not like last year where you just could not hit a shot no matter what you did. Like we're going to talk about the Chicago game. I believe the Magic shot over 40% from 3 in that one, and you still lost the game. So the offense or the shooting can't be the excuse of, oh, well, the ball's not going in, so guys are getting discouraged on the other end. No, the ball is going in plenty, and we're not seeing that defensive effort and focus and intentionality on the other end. And that's been very, very frustrating. But that's where the Magic are right now. We've talked that, hey, this team just needs to get healthy and everything will be fine. I still mostly believe that, but there's also just still something missing right now. This isn't like, oh, they're just not healthy right now. It's like they're not healthy and they're just also not playing hard and defending.
The Six-Man Show is brought to you by our friends over at the Posit Group. They are your home team on and off the court. Ken and his entire team are the experts in the Central Florida real estate market. And so if you are looking to buy or sell a home, look no further than the Posit Group. They're not only our partners here for real estate at the Six-Man Show, they are the official real estate partner for the Orlando Magic this season. Again, Ken and his team are the best. And it's easy to see why. They have over 1,700 5-star reviews. People go to Ken and his team for the experts, and they walk away happy customers. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, Posic.com is the place to be. They are in the top 1% of sales in the United States. They're the best at what they do. And again, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, maybe someone in your family, your friends, coworkers looking to buy or sell a home, send them over to Posic.com. That's Pozek.com. Ken and his whole team will take great care of you. Big shout out to him and the whole Posit Group for sponsoring the show.
This episode is also brought to you by our friends over at Jam Hot Chicken, and they are bringing you this week's Jam Hot Chicken Jam of the Week. For this one, we're going to go back to Sunday afternoon's game against the Indiana Pacers and go back to the last couple of minutes of the fourth quarter. Paolo Banchero passes it to Tristan da Silva. Magic up 3. Tristan da Silva spins, drives to the lane, goes up with the right hand, bounces off the front of the rim. Wendell Carter comes in from the left sideline, stretches way back, grabs the rebound, flushes it home with both hands to give the Magic a 5-point lead with 1:48 to go on the way to the Magic's 135-127 victory over the Indiana Pacers. That is this week's Jam Hot Chicken Jam of the Week. We also did want to give like an honorable mention to Paolo Banchero's dunk over Colin Murray Boyles, I think the gentleman's name is, from the Toronto Raptors. That was the point where we're like, okay, Paolo might actually be back. Definitely his most explosive play of the season. But Jam Hot Chicken is proudly serving the city beautiful, bringing jams, culture, and hot chicken to the heart of Winter Garden and also Winter Park with their new Winter Garden location at the Crooked Can Plant Street Market. Jam Hot Chicken is a Nashville and LA-inspired hot chicken shack, locally owned and operated in Orlando. In Winter Park, they're located at 400 West New England Avenue, Suite 13, over there in Hannibal Square. And like I mentioned, their new location in Winter Garden, they're over at the Plant Street Market. You can follow them at Jam Hot Chicken on all social media. You can check them out as well at jamhotchickenfl.com. When you stop by, be sure when you get to the checkout, you give your order Also let them know, hey, I have this code 6man. That will give you 10% off every single order at Jam Hot Chicken, whether you're there in person or if you're ordering online. When you get to checkout, there's a little area where you can enter in a promo code. You enter that, and that is going to get you 10% off your order at Jam Hot Chicken, code 6man. They are also available on Uber Eats, so if you're local to those locations, you want to get that delivered to your home, download the Uber Eats app. We love our friends over at Jam Hot Chicken. They support the show. They support the Orlando Magic because they are diehard Orlando Magic fans. So whenever you stop by, make sure to let them know that your friends over at the 6man Show sent you. And now let's go ahead and get back to the episode.
And this is maybe going a step ahead of where we're going to go, I'm sure, talking about these games. But I think that's probably why a lot of Magic fans are extra frustrated right now with how the team is playing, is because when you have a summer like we have and you acquire a guy like Desmond Bane, to me at least, is I viewed him as, among other things, insurance in case of injury, right? When you add a guy like Desmond Bane, then that means if any version of Paolo, Franz, or Desmond Bane are out at any given point, there are other guys that can step up. You know, if Franz is out, it's Paolo and Desmond Bane. If Franz is out, it's Paolo and Desmond. If Desmond's out, it's Paolo and Franz, right? Like whatever combination you want to do. I think that's why Magic fans have been frustrated, because Franz has been out, and obviously Paolo didn't play well, at the beginning of him coming back. But even in this week, this was a great Paolo week, which I know we're going to talk about, but you still went 2-2 against a bunch of not great teams. And so that's the kind of stuff that I think Magic fans expected, like, oh, Desmond Bane's going to elevate you in those situations when guys inevitably are injured. And it's not all Desmond Bane's fault, don't get me wrong. I just think that expectation was placed on this team this season. And so far, when we haven't been fully healthy, we have not been a super good basketball team, which I think that's where a lot of the disappointment comes from.
And to your point, Desmond Bane did step up, especially in this Pacers game Sunday afternoon in a big way. 31 points. Paolo, AB, and Desmond almost combined for 90 points.
Yeah.
And this game was not out of reach until like the final 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Like you put up 135 points on the Pacers, and you didn't feel like you could breathe until the last 40 seconds of this game. We're like, okay, we've got this one. That is a massive problem.
100%.
And Desmond Bane has been asked about it, and Anthony Black has been asked about it. Jamal Mosley has talked about it. Like, sure, like the offense has been great, but the defense has been sloppy. Like the effort has not been there. And I don't have a perfect answer for what's wrong or how to fix it or whatever. But yes, it is super frustrating. And again, even in like the sky is not falling, like the bottom is not falling out of this team, right? We talked about how the Magic haven't won consecutive games in over a month. You're still, what did I say, like 3.5 games back of the 2 seed. Like you're not that far out of this, and yet people are still calling for Jamal Mosley's job. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can do a little sidebar here and talk about that. I understand the frustration to a certain extent. Like I understand being frustrated. I understand questioning or criticizing Jamal Mosley. One thing that we all need to understand, Jamal Mosley, unless the team just completely quits on him, which in my opinion would say way more about the roster than it would Jamal Mosley. If after everything and where they are in the standings to this point, if at any point during this season the team just quits and like completely tunes him out, we've got bigger problems than just our coaching. But people are frustrated with Jamal Mosley for things that we have been frustrated with Jamal Mosley in the past, but we're at the point where people are not giving Jamal Mosley credit for things that we have given him credit for in the past, or things that we gave him a pass for in previous years. People are now just taking that like, oh, well, that doesn't matter. We're just looking at all the bad things, specifically the health. No Jalen Suggs for a lot of this. No Franz Wagner. No Mo Wagner still. Last year, when this team was coming from behind and beating Miami in December and beating Boston, we were clamoring for this guy to be coach of the year. Look at what this guy is doing in the face of all these injuries and so on and so forth. But this year, it's like, injuries be damned, it doesn't matter. People are calling for his job. And I just do not agree with going to that level. And like I said, unless everybody just quits, he is getting the year. We will find out what happens in the playoffs, see if he can be the guy to elevate this team to the next level. If he's not, then conversations may need to be had, but he's not going anywhere right now.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. And a couple things. I've said many times, and I'll say it again, I cannot fully judge the results that we see from this team without being fully healthy. I just won't do it. Like, again, the fact you just listed, like the guys that we're missing, they're too important for me to just ignore it, right? And don't get me wrong, we should be playing better. That please don't mishear me. This team should be playing better in spite of those injuries, right? But I can't fully just jump to conclusions based on what we're seeing, because this roster was constructed in a certain way that relies on really important guys that have been hurt or are still hurt, right? That's step one. Step two, I just have to address this because we have seen this more times in the last week than I think we've seen in the, coming up on 7-year history of this show, right? I have seen more people get on our case about the Jamaal Mosley thing, saying that, basically, to paraphrase, like, we won't call for Jamaal Mosley to be fired because he's been on this show. And that, to me, is just ludicrous. We've been so privileged to have so many people on this show, players, coaches, all that stuff. We have no problem being honest about all of those individuals, and we have done it before.
Against our best interests a lot of times.
Sometimes against our best interests where we have faced some consequences. I'll say, like, with Jamaal Mosley, earlier in the season, we were very, very clear about how we felt Jamaal Mosley started this season, right? How this whole, like, ridiculous fast-paced offense that they started the season with and felt like abandoned all sense of defense and all that kind of stuff. We were very harsh on this show about that. And Jamaal Mosley righted the ship and things were looking good, and then injuries have happened and all that kind of stuff. We have called out players that we've had on the show when they haven't stepped up and when they've made mistakes or whatever. We are not afraid to say these things. It's just Jonathan and I are both on the same page that we are way too early to be talking about firing Jamaal Mosley. Jamaal Mosley has earned the right to work through some of these issues that we're seeing right now. I cannot ignore what we saw. Obviously, Jonathan talked about last season. That team won 41 games. That team should have won 30 with the amount of injuries that we had on this roster last season. I think that should have been a 30-win season last year. The fact that we went 500, missing Franz and missing Paolo for such a chunk of time, and then missing Jalen. Your best 3 players played 6 games together last year. 6 games! And Jamaal Mosley coached them to 500.
And you missed Mo Wagner for half the season.
Yeah, half the season there too. That's your best bench scorer at the time. So what I want to remind people of, the one and only season in Jamaal Mosley's tenure, when the team has been healthy for the whole season, what happened? The team completely overachieved by every standard. 2 seasons ago, 23-24, people were talking about maybe a 500 team, right? They go out and win 47 games, take the Cleveland Cavaliers to 7 games, epic playoff series, the whole thing. What happened? The team was healthy. Jamaal Mosley had his whole roster available, and that's what he did with it. And so for those 2 reasons alone, I think he has earned the right to play through some of this stuff. Has he been perfect? No, he hasn't. But he's dealing with a whole bunch of the same issues that we dealt with last year when it comes to health. And so, all those ideas to me just all add up to he deserves it. He deserves this opportunity. And like you said, come April, May, that's when we're going to have some conversations, depending on how that goes. If either we get to April and this team has been healthy for enough of a period of time to where they should have moved up in the standings and they didn't, and or we get to April and May and this team fizzles out in the first round and looks terrible, that's when I have absolutely no problem coming on here and talking about conversations about Jamaal Mosley being fired for that. But we can't fire him for losses in December. I'm just not there. He has earned it to me. I've said too much, but that's just where I am with Jamaal Mosley, and I'm absolutely unapologetic about it.
And I will say this. Had the first 2 weeks of the season, if those trends would have continued, especially like with the pace and like defensively and everything, then yeah, like maybe at this point in the season, there would have needed to be a change because need I remind you all, we were, what was it, like 3-5, 4-5 after the first couple weeks of this season, and like a losing season with the investment in this roster and the talent that you have, completely like unacceptable. But to his credit, he turned things around, and there was like a whole stretch of games where the Magic were second like defensive rating over like the stretch of like 15 games after they got their heads out of their you-know-whats. And this team was top 10 in offensive and defensive rating for like basically the entire month of November. Yeah. So like he has earned, and the Magic are in a rough stretch right now. Again, you're still 6th in the East. You're 3.5 games back of the 2 seed.
Yep.
Like the Magic wake up tomorrow, remember how to defend, and then Jeff Turner, before the Chicago game on Friday on FanDuel Sports Florida, said the Magic, to his understanding, should be getting Franz and Mo back within the week. So if both of those guys are back this week, and they're available for the Europe trip and everything like that, and all of a sudden the Magic start rattling off wins, you win 5 or 6 games in a row, you could be a half game, 1 game back of the 2 seed. Maybe you even are the 2 seed, depending on like what happens. It would take a lot of luck to get to that point. But like I'm going to go off on another tangent here. I really apologize, everybody. And I don't mean to pick on this one person in particular, but I saw this in multiple places. After the post-game holler, like post-game video that we put up on Friday after the Chicago game, someone said something like, Jamal Mosley hasn't done anything in his 5 years here. It's like, in what world are we living in? Like, all of the culture, the way that these guys like compete, get rid of the last couple of weeks, but the previous 4 plus years here, the way that this team competes, the way that this team defends, the way that they care for one another and play for one another, literally all of the things that we love about this Orlando Magic team did not exist before Jamal Mosley got here. And when you ask people in the organization, and if you go back and listen to the guests that we have had on this show over the years, whenever you ask what is like the main contributing factor to these things happening and like the culture of the organization turning around, to a person, not most people, not some, every single freaking person has said Jamal Mosley. So if you've been paying attention to this team for any amount of time, get the crust out of your eyes, get the wax out of your ears, watch and listen to what people are saying. Jamal Mosley is the guy for all of these things that have happened and helped this team get to this point. Now, yes, obviously players, front office, support staff, everybody deserves a ton of credit for contributing to this as well. But he has been the guy leading this and spearheading this. So let's give him a little bit of credit and a little bit of the benefit of the doubt for things that have happened. And the way that this team was able to turn things around after the first couple weeks of the season, to me, he's earned the benefit of the doubt that, okay, the team is going through a little bit of a rough patch here. Maybe they're looking a little bit too much ahead to this Europe trip that's coming up, because, to be honest, the schedule has just been flat out weird the last 3 weeks with the West Coast trip coming back, these early starts that we've been getting, right? like the 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock tip a couple weeks ago. You've had a couple of 3 o'clock tip-offs the last, 2 out of your last 3 games have been like 3 o'clock tip-offs. You're going to have another one this upcoming time. Like, there have been some weird schedule stuff going on as well, but I have faith that the effort and the defense is going to come back into form, especially when you get healthy. And then, yeah, he's going to get the rest of the season regardless if anybody likes it or not. And to your point, he has not been perfect. A lot of the criticisms are fair, don't get me wrong, but right, the level to which people are taking it, to me, is too much. And also, like, their logic is not lining up with things that we've seen in previous seasons. So that's all I've got.
Here's another thing. Look around the NBA right now. The Magic are 5-5 in their last 10. It's not good, right? We want it to be better, especially when you consider the opponents. I get all of that, but the Magic are 5-5. There are some other teams that are 6-4. Do you know how many teams are 7-3 in their last 10 games? 3 teams. 3 teams in the entire NBA are 7-3 in their last 10 games. Nobody is 8-2. Nobody is 9-1. Nobody is 10-0. 7-3. 3 teams. Then you have, like I said, there's a sprinkling of 6-4 teams. You know other teams that are 5-5 in their last 10? The Knicks are 5-5 in their last 10. The Pistons are only 6-4 in their last 10. The Oklahoma City Thunder are only 6-4 in their last 10. It is this time of year in the NBA where it's just like the dog days right in the middle of the season, right? The Decembers, the Januaries, the Februaries, right until the All-Star break. This is how this goes across the league. It's just these windows of time when this happens. And so it's another reason. Again, you just look across the league. Nobody's on fire right now. It's just the way it is. The travel's brutal. It's coming off the holidays. Like, it's just funky. And so, I again, all of this, I'm just pointing back to the fact I can't get on board with what feels like an overreaction to me. And again, if these trends continue, that's a different conversation. But I have enough belief in this team, enough belief in the staff that it won't continue, especially when healthy.
Yeah, getting accused of like carrying weight for the team is wild. I wish we were doing that. I wish
That'd be awesome.
We were carrying water for the team. That'd be amazing. That's not at all what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't like our honest takes, then there's plenty of other Magic content out there that you can enjoy. Okay, let's talk a little bit about these games now that we've kind of gone off on several tangents here. Going back to Chicago on Friday, this again, super frustrating loss because the Magic were up, I think 10 early on in this game. Chicago comes back like this. This was a game of runs. This is like the epitome of a game of runs. And you have to look no forward than seeing there were 19 lead changes and 8 ties in this game. But the Magic were up 10 early. Bulls come back, take the lead. Magic storm back immediately, take a 13-point lead. Bulls come back, they retake the lead. And then from there, like the game is just back and forth like the entire way. Jalen Suggs leaves this game in the third quarter. He goes up for a drive. Jalen Smith like lands on his right knee. He left the game and was had an MRI, which revealed he had a mild like grade 1 MCL contusion, which is just like a bruise. And there was no other structural damage on that MRI. So hopefully he's not out for too long. We know Jalen Suggs, like if he can play, if it's safe to play, if he can manage the pain, he will play. But missing him, especially in that fourth quarter was pretty tough. But this is just like another game where the defense just was not quite good enough. Magic allowed the Bulls to shoot 50% from the floor. They shoot 14 of 41 from 3, and you put them at the line 19 times. They make 17 of those. Magic also shoot 50% from the floor, but you only have 86 field goal attempts, so 4 fewer field goal attempts than the Bulls. 14 of 32 from deep, 43% from the three-point line, but just 14 of 21. You leave 7 points at the free throw line in what was a 7-point loss. You shoot 66%. Paolo missed 4 free throws. Wendell missed 2 free throws. Goga misses a free throw as well. I don't want to say that was like the biggest problem in this game, but it was not great. The bench units in this one absolutely blitzed. The bench gets outscored 57-27 in favor of Chicago in this one. And this was just like another like really frustrating game where like this one, even though they only shoot 14 of 41 from 3, it feels like you're kind of fortunate that they didn't shoot a little bit better from behind the arc, because it felt like corner threes were open the entire night. And the Magic lose a game that they really should have been able to win in this one.
And honestly, the most frustrating part of this game for me was they were without Josh Giddey and Kobe White and Zach Collins.
Yeah.
Like, you should have absolutely taken care of business against this team. And again, I know it's another weird road trip, which we talked about earlier about the schedule, but the amount that this team has been on the road this month is obscene, especially considering the fact they're about to go to another continent next week, right? Like, it's crazy. But, and I know it's at the end of this road trip, but still, like, you're facing off against that starting 5, which, don't get me wrong, there's some respectable guys in there. Jalen Smith, Vooch, Buzelis, like all those guys. But look at who the Magic are playing. Like, you got to beat them, right? So for me, that was the most frustrating part of it, just looking at it on paper. And then, defensively, not great. Going back to a little bit like I mentioned earlier, like you just did not get enough from Desmond Bane in this one to me, right? Paolo with 31, obviously he's back and he's doing great, and AB filled in with 18, but outside of that, you just didn't get a lot from anywhere else. And so, especially that bench unit, like you said, my goodness. But again, that goes back to the injuries. Like, the bench unit was forced to be Tyus Jones and Tristan and Goga, and Jamal Cain had to play. And like, not that those guys are bad, but when you're relying on those guys to win games, that's where the problems can potentially come up. Not that they can't win you games, but you don't want to rely on them every night. And yeah, they just did not have it on Friday against the Bulls. And yeah, they got blitzed, as you said, by their second unit.
You guys want to hear some Jamal Mosley criticism? Jamal Cain, 15 minutes in this game was atrocious. Like, played well. Was that against Indiana where he was in
Wednesday,
double digits?
Yeah.
So like was good in that game, but I don't understand. And we saw the pendulum kind of swing back the other way. Like, we did see some Jonathan Isaac and some Jet Howard minutes tonight against Indiana. But like, obviously he wanted to reward Jamal Cain playing well, on Wednesday with these minutes on Friday. But just didn't have it. Like, I'm not going to go through the individual like plus minus stuff. The bench was really bad. But he was 2 of 5, had 3 rebounds, 8 points. But just like, this was a game where you desperately needed defense. Noah Penda hasn't been great recently, but like, this game was begging for some Noah Penda or some Jonathan Isaac minutes. I thought the fact that neither of those guys saw the floor in a game where you just desperately needed a little bit more defense, you needed to get some stops, especially in that second unit. I didn't love that at all. It felt like he went with Jamal Cain, probably 5-6 minutes too long in this game, where maybe another guy comes in, is able to give you a little bit more than he was. Maybe this is a different result, but as a collective unit, the defense is just not good enough. You cannot let the other team's bench outscore you by 30 points and give up 57 bench points. Like, when you go to the bench, like Dosunmu, 17 points. Kevin Huerter had 20 points, was open all night from behind the arc somehow. Like, people forgot that Kevin Huerter is like a lethal 3-point shooter. And then Patrick Williams, I know he's, up and down. Bulls fans' opinions on him pretty split, mostly negative, I would say, at this point. But he has 15 points. He shoots 3 of 5 from behind the arc. It was really like that bench unit that hurt you the most from deep. Like, you go through their starters: Jalen Smith 1 for 6, Vooch 1 for 3, Booz Ellis 2 for 8. Like, it was that bench unit that came in and was just shooting the lights out. Maybe that's why I felt like there was such a swing there, because Dosunmu plays 21 minutes, Huerter plays 23 minutes, Patrick Williams plays basically 23 minutes. Like, a lot of minutes off the bench for those guys. And yeah, there's no excuse for the effort, lack of attention to detail, lack of focus defensively. The whole team just needs to be better. It doesn't matter. Like, 114 points most nights for the Magic should be enough for them to win games, and it just isn't right now, quite frankly.
Again, especially against that version of the Chicago team. For me, like, the whole Jalen Suggs thing, like, I don't think it's a coincidence that he was a plus 15 in 20 minutes in a game you lost by 7, right? You just didn't have him for the vast majority of the second half. And that's where Chicago did a lot of damage. But while we talk about Jalen and defense and all that kind of stuff, the fourth quarter right now is the problem, or has been the problem for this team during, like, especially last week, that stretch of 3 games. Today was different, obviously, against the Pacers the second time. But last week it was like 12 points against Toronto, 18 on Wednesday against Indiana, and 19 on Friday against the Bulls in the fourth quarter. Just the fourth quarter offense through those 3 games was really, really tough to watch. And I know Jalen's obviously, one of the things he's known for is his defense, but offensively he's able to at least contribute some. But not having him, you still should be able to score more than 19 points against this version of the Bulls. And so that was another thing that I thought was pretty disappointing on Friday.
Last 10 games in fourth quarters, the Magic are 24th in offensive rating with a 108.8, and they are 25th in defensive rating with a 121.8. Overall net rating, the Magic are 27th in the fourth quarter in the last 10 games.
That's not good.
Yeah, and they're 5-5 in those games, quite obviously. But a lot of this is like just flat out losing and getting beat, and like other parts of this are like letting teams back into games.
Yeah.
So
100%.
for whatever reason, the Magic, yes, have been genuinely awful in fourth quarters recently. Yeah. So. Okay, let's talk tonight's game as we record this Sunday night against Indiana. Got the win on Wednesday against Indiana on New Year's Eve, and you were able to kind of hold off Rick Carlisle's 1,000th win. He comes into this one still looking for that 1,000th win. And really rough first quarter out of the Magic, really good second quarter, and then like the third and fourth quarters were just kind of meh, like weren't great, but you basically play the Pacers even. I think the Magic had a 9-point lead going into the half, if I remember correctly, and you win this game by 8. So basically you play the Pacers just about even in that second half. But as you might have already heard, like 135 to 127, you cannot give up 127 points to this Indiana Pacers team right now. I know they're getting a little bit healthy, but they don't have like two of their very best scorers in obviously Tyrese Halliburton and Ben Mathurin. Pascal Siakam goes absolutely crazy in that third quarter. I think it was a 20-point third quarter that he had, where if I remember correctly, the Pacers started 9 for 9 from the floor in the third, and the Magic started either 7 for 8 or 8 for 9 in the third. Neither team was really playing a ton of defense there, and it was like, okay, this is kind of cute that you're just trading these baskets like back and forth. But in no universe should the Magic be allowing any team to start a quarter 9 for 9. And Pascal Siakam goes 14 of 21 for the floor. Like, if we go back through those 14 makes, like, it felt like 9 or 10 of those baskets were little to no resistance whatsoever. Like him just doing whatever he wants, getting to the rim, easy finish. He only shoots 4 free throws in this game, where if a guy is feeling it the way he was in that third quarter, I want to see you put a guy on the floor. I want to see him earn it from the line. I don't want to see him just parading to the rim again and again, getting easy baskets. Like, you don't want to hurt a guy, but just like put a body on him, let him know that you're there, let him know, hey, you're going to have to earn this stuff. And the Magic just did not do this. The Pacers shoot 55% from the floor, 44% from deep. The difference is the Magic shot 56% from the floor and 46.9% from deep. So this was literally the Magic's offense being a little bit better than the Pacers in this one. And you, once again, survive the Indiana Pacers. You don't really beat them. You survive this game.
Yeah, and this, just to be super clear, this is not one of those like really bad teams that just scores a lot of points. Like the Utah Jazz, they're not a good team. They're very, very below 500, but they score 120 points a game. The Pacers this year are scoring 110 points per game, and you gave up 125 to them at home, right? They're not even on their home floor, like racking up points with their fans. Like they are in your building, and you give up 125 points to that team. And it's one thing, like, look, it's the NBA. Teams can get hot. It happens. But when it happens repeatedly, over and over again, several games in a row, it becomes a trend. It becomes a concern. And so, yeah, it's definitely concerning. This stretch was supposed to be easy, right? Like, this was supposed to be the stretch of easy games that we had circled on the calendar way back in August when the schedule came out. And unfortunately, obviously, you go 2-2 this week, which isn't what you want, but it's more so the optics of it. Like, both of the wins this week came against the worst team in the Eastern Conference, the Indiana Pacers, and neither was convincing.
Barely.
Yeah, barely. And then the losses that you had, Friday against Chicago is not great, obviously. And then thinking back, even just the week before that, the Hornets
also had
lost.
a 20-point lead against the Raptors. 21-point lead.
Yeah. So that's where I think things are getting a little dicey. It's just this was supposed to be the easy stretch, and it has not been easy at all. And you've thrown in some losses in there, and the defense just has to be better.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And in terms of rebounding, like the last 15 games, you've also been a bottom 10 rebounding team. Like, just the things that are the things that you can control, which mostly is like effort, defense, and rebounding. None of it is there right now. And I think for most people, that's the most frustrating part. Like, I think we've all gotten used to this team missing shots. And even though when the team isn't making shots, we're like, yeah, this sucks. Why us? We're cursed, whatever. But the thing that at least I see on social media that gets people irate, and really to the point of like fire Mosley, the stuff when they start saying this kind of stuff, it's because of the effort-based stuff that they're not doing, not defending, not rebounding. All of the like attention to detail, kind of effort stuff. And like it sucks. Like Desmond Bain, 31 points tonight, 12 of 17. And I'm like, okay, great. But like the defense was terrible. Paolo Banchero, 28 points, 9 of 18, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal. But the defense was terrible. Like even Anthony Black, 27 points, 8 of 16, 8 of 10 at the free throw line, had 10 assists and 1 turnover in this game. Had 5 stocks, by the way. Was genuinely awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like he's like guys just have to take pride in keeping their man in front of them. It's the most basic principle. And Jamal Mosley says it all the time. If you're not going to sit down and guard and keep your man in front of you and have pride on that end, nobody is doing that right now. Like no one. I can't point to one guy on the roster that's like, you know what? This guy is really bringing it on this end consistently right now.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Even Wendell, like Wendell is probably, at least in the starting unit, like been one of the more like solid, like better guys. But like even Wendell at points, it's just like the fouls have really been an issue for Wendell. Multiple points this year. I think he's fouled out 5 or 6 times now on the season through, what are we now? 20 and 16? 36. Yeah. So Wendell's fouling out once every like 5-6 games.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
And he, give him a little bit of credit. The referees just do not give him the benefit of the doubt in most cases, but he also just has to be smarter about like some of the dumb either frustration or like ticky-tack stuff where he just gets caught out of position and fouls for no good reason.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, you mentioned it, like Anthony Black, Desmond Bain, Paolo today, at least offensively.
Awesome.
That's beautiful, right? It's beautiful.
Fantastic.
Now, you hate the fact that you get nothing from the bench again. Like the bench, I mean, I shouldn't say that. Jace Richardson played well. And
let's be honest. What was it, 17 or 18 and nothing run in that second quarter? Mostly bench guys like Tyus, Jace, right. Jonathan Isaac, like massive parts of that run where the Magic were down by double digits early in this game and then like flipped Indiana's backpack inside out in that second quarter. They outscored Indiana, 41-22 in that second quarter, like truly dominant quarter.
Yeah.
But then just didn't follow it up.
Right. Yeah, it stinks. But yeah, you get, I think, 21 bench points from, this game. But again, you can't complain. You score 135 points. The Magic scoring 135 points should be a 20-plus point win.
Yes.
Every night. And the fact you had to squeak this one out, you win by 8. And, I mean, this was, a 2-possession game in the last few minutes. Again, another game that, not that it came down to the wire, not like some of the other games during this stretch, but it should have never been
pretty close to the wire.
Yeah, it was a little bit. But, it should have never been this close, and so that was disappointing. But it's one of those that I'd like to think if and when this team gets healthy and if and when this team goes on a great run when healthy and they have a great spot in the playoffs come April, you look back on this and I hope we're not sitting here by then thinking, man, that win against the Pacers on January 4th, woof, that was not impressive. All we're going to care about is that it was a win in the win column that helps this team with playoff seedings or whatever. I hope that's the case. I still believe it. But yeah, it's definitely not one that I think the team will be super proud of at the end of the day.
I'm pretty sure if my math is correct, the Magic in their last 9 have played 7 games that have qualified as clutch games.
I 100% believe that.
And the 2 that were not, you got blown out by Charlotte and blown out by Golden State.
Yep.
Every other game has been either, like one possession. Like the game that was not super close was a 7-point loss to Chicago, but it did still qualify as a clutch game.
Right.
But it just like, it's not good. In those 7, you are 4-3. Or wait, let's see. 1, 2. I guess you're 5-2 in those 7. But still not great. Like,
yeah.
Especially, Charlotte, Portland shouldn't have been close. Utah shouldn't have been close. Both Indiana games shouldn't have been close. Like, I don't know. It's frustrating. And look, if we're sitting here 2 weeks from now and things are still the same and it's been at that point like a genuine month of like low effort, bad defense basketball, then maybe the Jamal Mosley conversation gets revisited. But I just don't know how to properly evaluate and assign blame to effort. I feel like it's mostly a player thing, but I don't think the coach is completely absolved of everything.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting with, again, the schedule. I just I can't overstate it. Like, the schedule has been so weird, and it gets weird still. Like, these next 2 weeks are going to be really weird. Like, traveling and playing, 6 hours ahead, then 5 hours ahead in time zones. Like, that's going to be weird. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, but hopefully the team can put some things together.
How's Memphis doing these days? They're 4-6 in their last 10. They've lost 3 in a row.
Yep.
They're 10th in the West. They're 15-19. You should still, if you don't win that Berlin game, I mean, you want to talk about getting a home court advantage. I don't even know if you're getting a bigger home court advantage over Memphis if you're in Orlando.
Yeah, honestly.
Like, you have to win that game for sure. You have to sweep the Europe trip. We keep saying all these, like, you have to.
Magic got to focus on this week first. I'm not going to jump the gun on the week ahead, but there's some winnable games, and last week was full of winnable games, and we didn't handle those. So hopefully we can figure it out, but we'll see.
Well, before we get to the week ahead, I want to talk about this previous week for a certain player who we've been like just borderline begging to be able to turn it around. And one young Paolo James Napoleon Banchero, is that his full government name?
Government name.
Something like that. I'm gonna have to look up the Wikipedia really quickly here as we're sitting here talking. I'm gonna look like a complete bonehead.
That'd be an impressive poll if that's accurate.
I can't even Wikipedia properly these days.
Rough.
Oh, I got it backwards. Paolo Napoleon James Banchero.
Wow. How about that?
Okay. Anyways, last 4 games, so all the games this week, 27.8 points per game. 10.8 rebounds, 6.3 steals, 2.3 stocks per game.
Assists.
Okay, good. Assists. 6.3 assists. I was getting ahead of myself. 2.3 stocks, but 6.3 assists to only 2.5 turnovers. We will take sub 3 turnovers a game out of Paolo Banchero, shooting 53% from the floor, 46% from deep, 66.7% at the free throw line. That needs to be a little bit better. But in my opinion, that is the lone blemish from Paolo Banchero. And this is officially the best week that he has had all season long, in my opinion.
He is so back. I mean, so back. When you see the lift that he has on the long ball right now, that's when you know he's
even
back.
Around the rim.
And around the rim too. But like just watching the threes compared to how they were 2 weeks ago, night and day. And he's not a three-point shooter. I don't want him going out there taking 10 threes a game. But still, you see the lift on it, and obviously they're going in right now, which is great too. But he is 100% back. And like you said, the turnovers, it's not just this week. The turnovers this season, he has been exceptionally better than his previous few seasons. Like, the turnovers have been a major bright spot. Even in spite of some of the poor play we've seen since he's been back from injury, he's still kept the turnovers down this year, which has been awesome because that is something he has struggled with off and on through the rest of his career previously. So love that Paolo is back. And again, I think hopefully this is laying the foundation for, again, I still keep talking about it, a big run that I still feel is coming when we get healthy, but laying the foundation. He had his injury. He struggled when he came back. Now he's firing on all cylinders. Let's get Franz back. Let's get him ramping up from injury. Then he can fire on all cylinders. Jalen, Mo, add them into it. And then hopefully come the last third of the season, everybody's firing on all cylinders, and we're going 100 miles an hour into the playoffs.
Yeah. What was I just looking at? Yeah, his 2.6 turnovers that he's averaging on the season would be a career low for Paolo. So you're spot on there. And he's just been a lot better. Like I said, I never thought that he's not engaged. I didn't feel like that was fair. He just was pretty obviously not 100% like physically. And then there was he may or may not be having fun kind of stuff, which you don't ever want to hear that. But you start winning games, Paolo Banchero is going to be having fun. I think everybody can agree with that. So, okay, let's now go ahead and take a look at the week ahead. No basketball on Monday, so Kevin won't miss anything while he's traveling. But Tuesday, you're at Washington, 7 o'clock tip. First night of a back-to-back. So you leave Washington, you head to Brooklyn for the second night of that back-to-back, and that game tips off on Wednesday at 7:30. And then you come home for Philadelphia on Friday. That's a 7 o'clock tip off Saturday. And then you have a 3 o'clock tip again on Sunday versus New Orleans, because after that game, the Magic are heading to Europe, baby. So at Washington, at Brooklyn, home for Philadelphia, home for New Orleans.
You are playing 3 of the worst teams in the league this week: Washington, Brooklyn, New Orleans. Now, to be fair, Washington and Brooklyn right now are playing their best basketball of the season. They are both 5-5 in their last 10. This is an 11-win and 9-win team, Brooklyn and Washington respectively, and they've won 5 of their last 10 games each.
Brooklyn just had a little bit of a win streak recently. Yeah, they had a 3-game win streak, Raptors, 76ers, and Wolves.
Yeah, and the Wizards have won like 4 out of 5 or something like that. The Wizards lost on Sunday to the Timberwolves. But yeah, so...
And the Nets just beat the Nuggets.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I know the Nuggets are a little
they got smoked by the Wizards.
Yeah. So all to say, like, winnable games, but you got to be careful. Like, you cannot let these games sneak up on you. And then Philly on Friday is obviously the toughest one. Philly's ahead of you in the standings right now, so that's important. And you owe them. But, well, I guess you got them back pretty good. I take that back. You got them back pretty good on that NBA Cup game on NBC, because the first matchup, you got punked.
Well, they still employ Kyle Lowry, I'm pretty sure, so we still owe them.
Yeah, still owe them. So I'd like to think you don't go any worse than 3-1. But I think 4-0 is in the cards. But I'm scared because of what we've seen. That 2-2 could happen, especially you have a back-to-back. But the Magic have won 3 straight or 4 straight second night of back-to-backs. I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going to say 3-1. I think the Magic go 3-1 this week. And I honestly think they're going to lose to Brooklyn on Wednesday. That's my number. Beat the Wizards, beat the Sixers, beat the Pelicans, lose to Brooklyn on Wednesday.
For the second straight week.
Oh, here it goes.
I'm going 4-0 because I think Friday at home versus Philadelphia is the return of Franz and Mo Wagner.
The same day?
I need it.
Oh, man.
I need it.
That'd be wild.
Because I don't think you can just give them one warm-up game before Berlin. I think they need multiple games at home. Make sure, everything's cool, everything's fine, and then off to Berlin.
Mo, I can understand. Franz, we don't know if Franz is back, right? Like, I mean, we don't know for sure.
Jeff Turner said both.
I know he did.
Franz and Mo.
I know, but I'm saying like the Mo timeline makes sense, of course, right? And I do feel like the Mo thing is just a matter of time. But the Franz stuff, he actually had an injury, a recent injury, and so I don't know. We'll see. That would be amazing.
You can't lose on Mo Wagner night. You just can't. So if he comes back Friday, it's Philadelphia's just like, oh, he's back. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're just gonna go home. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. That'll be electric. I am
saying once again, this is the start of a 6-game win streak, just like I said a week ago today.
Oh my gosh!
I need it, man. I really need it. I really need it.
That'd be awesome.
How bad would it be for us to go over to Europe and they lose both of those games?
That would not be fun.
Would not.
That's
be
not
going
to happen. It's not going to happen.
It's not. No way.
Please don't clip that if it does. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Looking forward to it. Kev is going to be in Europe. Going to be awesome. Can't wait to get over there myself. It's going to be so much fun. Let's have the Magic figure out the defense stuff this week. Let that, if nothing else comes from it, let that be the case, that everything is fine on that end again. But that is going to do it for this one. For Kevin Tucker, this has been Jonathan Osborne. You all have been listening to The Sixth Man Show, and we will catch you guys next time. See ya.
Thanks for listening to The Sixth Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Spotify to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the show a lot. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sixth Man Show. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic!